Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, and welcome to another episode of the Sportswise Veteran. It's Wednesday, halfway through the work week. We're almost there. And also, it's a great day because it is NFL Draft Eve. A lot of dreams are going to come true tomorrow over the next 3 days, and some teams are going to be controversial. Hopefully, my top 10 from my last episode, hopefully, I nail a couple of those. Some of them are no-brainers, some of them are hot takes, so I'm hoping. Staying with the football theme, since football never seems to stop. I wanted to do another top 10, another controversial top 10. This one's going to be fun. At least it is for me. I'm going to do my top 10 football movies. Everybody likes watching movies, those feel good, happy go lucky comedy type movies. So I've got 10 of them that ranked in order from 10 to 1 that I think are the best football movies. We're going to start off with number 10, Invincible from 2006. In the summer of 76, 30-year-old Vince Papale is having a tough run of luck. He's been working as a substitute teacher for 2 days a week and just found out that his job has been eliminated because of budget cuts. His wife gives up on him, saying he'll never amount to anything and asks for divorce. He works as a part-time bartender and plays football with his friends. When the new coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, Dick Vermeil, announces that he will hold open tryouts for the team, Vince reluctantly decides to give it a try. This is based on a true story. It stars Mark Wahlberg. Not really. Mark Wahlberg's a little short guy. Vince Papale was a tall player. Some of it is dramatized for the movies, but it is one of those happy, feel-good movies that one of the good guys wins at the end. Vince had a pretty good career, 3 years, I think 3 or 4 years in the NFL, but still, it was a 30-year-old guy, came up off the streets and decided to make his dream come true. Next up, it's a classic. Number 9 on my list is The Waterboy, Bobby Boucher. This came out in 1998. I can't believe it's been that long. Bobby Boucher is a 31-year-old who lives at home with his mom and is the water boy for the University of Louisiana Cougars. One day, he is fired and ends up being the water boy for the down and out college team, the South Central Louisiana State University Mud Dogs. During an incident at camp, Bobby demonstrates to be a ferocious tackler and is picked for the team's defense. Thanks to him, the Mud Dogs' fortune soars. However, his mother doesn't approve of him playing football at all. Everybody has seen The Waterboy. My mama said. That movie has so many quotes. It is hilarious. It's one of Adam Sandler's best movies, in my opinion. Next up, Jerry Maguire from 1996. Jerry Maguire used to be the typical sports agent, willing to do just about anything he could to get the biggest possible contracts for his clients, plus a nice commission for himself. Then one day he suddenly has the second thoughts about what he's really doing. When he voices these doubts, he ends up losing his job and all of his clients except Rod Tidwell, that's Cuba Gooding Jr., an egomaniacal football player. Can Jerry resurrect his career while still staying true to himself? That is another one that is it's a feel-good movie. It's hilarious. Again, a lot of quotes that can come from this movie. You had me from hello. Just it's if you're watching it for the pure football part of it, don't. But if you're watching it for the feel good, can this really happen? Great part of the movie, then it's a great movie. Number 7 on my list, and this is some of you guys may have never heard of this movie, Brian Song from 1971. Brian Piccolo and Gale Sayers are teammates on the mid-60s Chicago Bears, at a time when professional football still bears a certain amount of race-based segregation. The growing friendship between the white Piccolo and black Sayers, as well as their wives Joy and Linda, become a symbol of harmony during the civil rights era. The bond grows stronger still when Piccolo receives some shattering and unexpected news. I'm not going to ruin it, but as a human, if you watch Brian's song and don't get a little choked up, then there's something wrong with you. I mean, it's Brian Piccolo is one of those players that a lot of people have never heard of, but he was a phenomenal player, especially for the Bears. And their story together was one of the best ones that, I mean, it hit you right in the feels. Next up, number 6, Friday Night Lights from 2004. Exceptions are high for the 1988 football team at Permian Mojo High School in the blue-collar football crazy town of Odessa, Texas. Mojo is a traditional powerhouse in Texas high school football, and the community lets Coach Gaines know in not so many subtle ways that nothing short of a state championship is a failure. But when the team loses its star tailback in the first game of the season, hope seems dashed, and the Mojo go into its early tailspin. Everybody is ready to hang Coach Gaines in effigy, and the team is left for dead. But miraculously, Coach Gaines pulls his team together, and the Mojo makes a now unlikely run in the state playoffs. This is one of those movies that's based on a true story. Again, a lot of the scenes are not true, different order. If you read the book, you watch the movie, they don't match up too well, but it's still one of those great feel-good movies. And I think anybody that has not seen it will enjoy it. Next up is The Gridiron Gang from 2006. In the Kilpatrick Juvenile Detention Center, the supervisor and former football player Sean Porter sees the lack of discipline, self-esteem, union, and perspective in teenage interns and proposes to prepare a football team to play in one league. He is supported by his superiors, and his successful experience changes the lives of many young kids. This one stars The Rock and Exhibit, and it seemed like when I saw the cast of this, when I first watched it, seemed like an unlikely grouping together, but they fed off each other well, and it's one of the great movies, again, based on a true story. Not everything's true about it, but it outlines what happens in LA or any other big city that has a gang problem with the youth. I highly recommend all these. Number 4 on the list is another one that'll hit you right in the feels, or at least it should if you have a heart. Number 4 is the movie Radio from 2003. In 1976, in Anderson, South Carolina, the football coach Jones of the T.L. Hanna High School protects a handicapped young man from the abuse of some of his players. His name, okay, let me go back. He says his name is Radio. It's really James Robert Kennedy, who can hardly speak. After some months in the companion of Coach Jones and the resistance of part of the locals, Radio becomes popular, beloved, and a symbol of the most of the population. Again, this is a Cuba Gooding Jr. movie. Ed Harris. It's, again, based on a true story. And unfortunately, the real life person Radio passed away a few years ago. He was a part of that high school and that community until his death. Take a look at this movie. This one's another one that hits you right in the feels. Number 3. This is one that I'm going to get some flack about, but I love this movie. The Longest Yard from 2005. Paul Wrecking Crew was a revered football star back in his day, but that time has faded. When a messy drunk driving incident lands him in jail, Paul finds he was specifically requested by Warden Hazen, a dubious prison official well aware of Paul's athletic skills. Paul has been assigned the task of assembling a team of convicts to square off in a big game against the sadistic guards. With the help of fellow convict caretaker and an old legend named Nate Scarborough to coach, Crew is ready for what promises to be an interesting game. It's only when Warden and the guards have no idea what they're up against, with Paul driving force behind the new team. Okay, this is a remake. It is Adam Sandler. It is just that MTV cast. I think MTV produced the movie. It was a Happy Madison movie. But there's some parts of that are way better than the original. There are some original characters in the newer movie, but it is hilarious. And it is a great football movie. There's some former pros, WWE, Adam Sandler, Chris Rock. Almost the perfect cast for a movie like this. Next up, a movie that there are some scenes that were in the original cut of this movie that were removed because when this came out in 1993, kids my age, I didn't do it. But there were some people that were trying to reenact one of the scenes where they're laying on the road on the yellow line and letting cars just buzz right past them. But this movie it's cheesy at sometimes, but there are some cast members in there that you watch it, you're going to be, wow, they were young. The Program. A college football coach is told by his bosses that unless they do better this season, this could be his last one. To bolster his team, to bolster the team, he recruits a talented tailback. A female student is signed to help him assimilate with college life, and that includes studies because he spent his whole life just playing football. After he finds himself attracted to her and she already has a boyfriend who is also on the team, he might be a little bit concerned about losing his position. And the coach has to deal with other players' situations like the team's quarterback who deals with his father being distant by drinking and eventually gets him in trouble. And one of the team's defensive players obviously using steroids but passes drug tests. This is the what everybody thinks the NCAA football was like in the 90s. This is the University of Miami. This is what they thought Nebraska was like. It is a great movie. Um, if you watch it, the football, little iffy, but the characters, they all seem to fit perfect together. That's why it's number 2 on my list. And last but not least, I don't care what you think. This was a great movie. Came out in 1999, but Any Given Sunday. When a devastating hit knocks a professional football legend and quarterback Cap Rooney out of the game, a young, unknown third stringer is called in to replace him. Having ridden the bench for years because of a string of bad luck stories and perhaps insufficient character, Willie Beeman seizes what may be his last chance and lights up the field with a raw display of athletic prowess. His stunning performance over several games is so outstanding and fresh, it seems to augur a new era in the history of the Miami franchise and forces the aging coach Tony D'Amato to reevaluate his time-tested values and strategies and begin to confront the fact that the game, as well as the postmodern life, may be passing him by. Adding to the pressure on D'Amato to win at any cost is the aggressive young president and co-owner of the team, Christina Pagliacci, now coming into her own after her father's death. Christina's driving desire to prove herself in a male-dominated world is intensified by her focus on the marketing and business of football, in which all coaches and players are merely properties. This is another one of those movies. It's like 2.5, almost 3 hour long movie, but the cast is set up perfect. The movie, everything about this movie was amazing from start to finish. Kind of reminded me of real life. This came out in 99, but the whole battle of Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick back in 2010, 2011 with the 49ers. Alex Smith got hurt. Cap came in and just ran the league for a little bit, very little bit. But that's my top 10. Let me know what you think of of the top 10 and let me know what your top 10 football movies is. Again, happy football draft eve. Tomorrow starts a new life for a lot of players out there. So I hope your team gets who they want. I hope they finish second in the league next year behind the 49ers. It's going to be a great day. So thanks for watching. Again, like, subscribe, do that whole jazz. As always, continue doing what you do. You never know who's watching you, who you're inspiring. So be the best you so somebody can be just like you or even better. This has been the SportsWise Veteran. I hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye now.